Welcome back everybody to Orange Track Outlaws, and today we are gonna do my Redline Day build. And you can see our little subject here is the Hot Wheels 1969 custom AMX. So as you can see, this car is in pretty bad shape, and this is why I kind of wanted to pick it to restore this bad boy into its former glory. And actually got plans on turning this into one of the rarest Hot Wheels, supposedly the Edge Shaver edition of the AMX, which was supposedly only available in the UK. So I guess that's what makes it so rare. But we got some tampos to put on there later. But first of all, you can see that there is a lot of issues here, so we are going to dive right in. So getting a look at this bad boy, it looks like all the wheels need replaced. Obviously the paint needs replaced. It's a train wreck. It's missing the hood, and it's actually missing the hood vent there. So we're gonna have to find that thing on another car and JB weld that thing in there and put a new hood on there. So, and it looks like the windshield's got a problem too. So let's get this thing drilled apart. Since this is an older Redline, the posts are kind of mushroomed out a little bit, as opposed to the new way how they have a little indent in them. So you got to hit them with the hole punch first to, hopefully hit it in the center, and then use a tiny drill bit and get that thing started out, and then switch to a little bit bigger drill bit and get that buzz that post head off there, just about as flush as possible, and it should fall apart. But if it doesn't, you can get just a little screwdriver and kind of wedge it in there between the body, and if you just pry it just a little bit, it'll pop right off there. Shouldn't be a big deal. If there is an issue, you probably don't have enough of it drilled off. But we got this guy done. We're going to pull it apart here and see what we got to work with. And this car was apparently played with pretty heavily, and something was up with the windshield, because it sure didn't want to come out. And I don't know if there was like some old glue or some residue, or somebody tried a crazy paint job or something. But you can tell that, look at the front's cracked. It's really brittle, and I'm not quite certain if that thing's even going to be repairable. It's pretty nasty. But you guys get a look at the chassis here. Got the bearing styled. Looks like the bearings need cleaned up, and that chassis needs a good bath too. The interior is really not in too bad a shape. It's going to need a little bit of cleaning. We'll throw it in the super clean. You can look at that windshield. It's just gnarly looking. It's probably going to have to be scrapped. And here's a look at our body. Obviously it's missing that hood vent there across the middle and the hood. So we're going to have to get some new parts. So fresh out of the sandblaster with our chassis, and that thing cleaned up real nice. It doesn't take a whole lot of time in the sandblaster with them chassis, just enough to clear all the exterior oxidation and whatnot off of there. And we'll put it in our little wire wheel booth and get it cleaned up and see what else needs done here. But from the looks of things, it's turning out pretty well. So after we get it cleaned up, we'll clean it off with some soap and water after that. So you can get a look at this chassis here. It actually looks real good right there. So, but take it a step further, we are going to go ahead and polish this bad boy up and see if we can't get a nice shine out of it. So we are going to use a little bit of our metal polish here. And I do have some Flitz metal polish is what I'm currently using here. It's a good product. It seems to do a great polish job. I've used a handful of them. I can't really say that the Flitz is overall better than the others, but I have used the Blue Magic and some of the other polishes out there, and Mothers. I use Mothers a handful of times too, but I'm into this tube right now, and it actually does pretty well. So we're going to polish this guy up and with our little Dremel tool and our polishing bonnet on the end there. So low speed, slow and steady here on the polish. You can't go too fast. Um, you'll dry and burn that polish out, and makes it awful difficult to remove. But slow and steady here, just keep it moving, and you can see the shine starting to come through here. And look at that thing, looking great. Little soapy water, and we'll clean that up. And you can get a look at our body here, also fresh out of the sandblaster. And as you saw, how the paint looked in that. I don't know. I think that must have been the antifreeze paint or something, but it was nasty. It came pretty much right off of there. And this thing should be pretty good after we get it cleaned up here with the wire wheel. I believe the next step after this is going to be trying to figure out how to put that little hood vent or roof vent, or yeah, the hood vent right under the windshield there, between the windshield and in the hood. I believe what I'm going to have to do is get a donor car for that. You can see that the body actually looks pretty good. We'll clean it up a little bit with the file and the rough edges, but here's a look at our car, and we got our hood put in, and we got our little our vent put in there. I found a very similar car. I can't remember what the car was that I took it off of, but ended up cutting that thing out. It's kind of hard to see there, but I did JB weld it in there. It fits pretty good. I think there might be, I did have to file a little bit on the back side of the hood there to get it to open properly. So it kind of looks like there's a little bit bigger of a gap between the hood and in the hood vent there, but we're gonna see how it goes. The hood does open, so we're gonna hit this bad boy with a little bit of primer and see how it looks. See if the welds look pretty good. And what we're gonna do, since we're gonna go after the Spectra Flame look here, but body had some JB weld and whatnot on it. We're gonna put this Chrome Shop not the Chrome Shop, sorry, the Redline Shop body prep on here, which is basically what gives it a chrome polished look of the metal, so we can lay down our Spectra Flame color on there. So it should turn out pretty good. This is the first time I've used that undercoat, so I guess we'll see how it works here for the first time. But as you can see, it's really turning that car a nice shiny color to it. So I'm liking the look of that. I think it's looking pretty good. So we're gonna let that dry, and we're gonna bring it in, and we're gonna hit it with some Spectra Flame Blue from the Redline shop. Like I said earlier, we are going for that Edge Shavers Custom AMX edition look here. So some Spectra Flame Blue, and once we get this layered on here and let it dry, we'll go ahead and attach the tampos to it. So first coat of the Spectra Flame is a nice and light tack coat. Just get good full coverage, kind of here, there, and everywhere. Get a nice tint of the color going, and let it rest for a little bit. And once we get that first coat on there, we can start layering on some other coats. But typically for me, I found that at least 3, if not 4 at least, starts bringing out the right color that you're looking for. You can keep going more, and it may make it a little bit darker and possibly a little bit richer in the color, but at some point it's going to stop changing color from what I've found. So usually about 4 coats seems to be about the magic number for the color that I'm looking for. For this, I'm looking for just a nice, shiny royal blue color. And so far so good, actually, with that Redline shot base coat and the Spectra flame. It's turning out pretty much exactly how it should. So it's really looking blue. I'm liking that. I'm liking that a lot. So I'm gonna go. I think I'm going one more coat here and see if I just can even that blue out a little bit. Maybe give it just a little bit of a deeper, richer blue, and we'll let it dry. Let it dry overnight or so. I'm gonna give it probably at least 2 days, and then we'll be ready to start cutting our tampos out and putting them on there, and getting this thing back to where it should be. So Redline shot paints, these are some great paints. They really paint nice and they flow good. I don't think I've had a bad experience with them yet. They really work well in the more expensive Awada guns, and they also work well in the real cheapy airbrushes. So as long as you clean your brush, it should be all right. So got the paint done and dried. We got our tampos here, and we got them cut up, and they should be fitting right. We're gonna put these guys on here and try to bring this car to life. So basic idea with these guys is soak them in some warm water for 10, 15 seconds, 20 seconds or so, and it auto they ought to slide right off and right where they need to be. I like using a little Q-tip, and you can see here, unfortunately, I did get a corner tuck under, and got that ironed out. But I like to use a damp Q-tip to get it centered where I need it to go, and kind of dry it out with the other dry end of the Q-tip, and just try to squeegee the cracks out. Any water that you got trapped underneath there, and try to smooth it all out. And can't press too awful hard. It will scoot around on you, and you just got to play with it. But so far so good, and this car is really turning out looking great. So moving right along, we did get the trunk stripes on, and we got the roof stripes on, and now we're going to finish up here with the hood stripe. And there's really a crazy glare on this car, but this thing's looking great. Live and in person, this car looks way better than it looks in this video here with that stupid glare. But there is a light right overhead there at my little workstation there, so that's kind of where that's coming from, unfortunately. But as soon as I can get these things on here, we're gonna let the tampos dry overnight or so, and then we're gonna hit this thing with a couple coats of clear coat to seal it all up. Then we'll let that dry, and then we'll be about ready for final installation. So after we got our clear coat, everything pretty much buttoned up. We got our new wheels on here. We've got our polished chassis. And that thing's looking really good. I colored in the rear brake light. That was basically a couple coats of just a red paint pen. Did get a new windshield because the original windshield was unrepairable. I did try fooling with it, and it broke quickly. So I had to go to eBay to get a new windshield. The interior cleaned up just fine. You can take a look at our body here. It's nice and shiny, clear coated, sealed everything up. So real happy how this thing is turning out here. It ought to look pretty sick once it's all back together. So I'm gonna start putting her in here. being though this is an older Redline and it does have the skinnier post on it, I did have to use the I'd have to use the smaller tap, which I think it was like I think it was the 172 size tap, and I had to use some smaller screws because them skinny posts, if you try to use that 256 size tap, more than likely you're gonna blow a side out. So I like to go to them smaller ones just to make sure everything goes together right. So once I get this thing all settled in, we'll sink the screws down and we'll be ready for the final reveal. So every once in a while, when you depending on what kind of paint you use and what kind of how thick the clear coat is and whatnot, you know, you'll build up all that on those posts and some of that stuff on the insides, and you know that that chassis doesn't want to fit right up into that body as it should, because you got a lot of that extra paint and whatnot built up. So you got to kind of be careful and, you know, work that chassis up into the body as easy as possible. You know, you don't want to ruin anything on the outside. But this car went together pretty good. I'm really liking this thing. This is looking sweet. And that hood, it's kind of hard to tell that he even had to repair that thing. So here's a look at what we started with. This is our Hot Wheels 69 Custom AMX Redline. I believe it was originally an antifreeze, and this sucker is well played with. It looks like they actually ran it so hard the wheels fell off, and some of these wheels look, I don't know, they look like they melted a little bit or something, and missing the hood, so they played with the crap out of this thing. But here's a look at our finished product here. This is our Edge Shavers Edition AMX with the Spectra Flame blue paint, new windshield, cleaned up interior, polished chassis, new Redline wheels, and this thing looks awesome. It looks great in this picture. It looks even better, you know, up close. You can probably see that the gap in there between the hood and the vent, or the that cross member there that I had to JB weld in there. But other than that, at first glance, I don't think you notice. I think it looks really good. Maybe that's just me picking it apart. But I don't know. This car looks awesome. So thanks you guys for checking out another video. Looking forward to all the other Redline Day videos, and make sure you check everybody else's out. Please subscribe if you haven't. Give me a thumbs up and all that good stuff. Check out the other videos, and I will see you guys on the next build. See ya.